pleasure to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, June 18th. It is 8:30 a.m. I'd like to welcome my fellow commissioners, staff, guests, and other folks who have come to take their time to come to the meeting this morning. Thank you so much. It's always nice to see you. We will begin with public comment. Is there any public that would like to address the Finance and Physical Resources Committee this morning? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. That brings us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, moved and supported. Any items have to be pulled? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item number 3 from the Circuit Court. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $400,000 from the Department of Health and Human Services, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Office to the Special Projects Fund for the 17th Circuit Court Mental Health Court, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation to not exceed 15% of the original award. On March 19, 2017, the Board of Commissioners accepted and appropriated a mental health court planning grant awarded by the State Court Administrative Offices for the 17th Circuit Court Mental Health Court. A mental health court is a specialized court docket for certain defendants with mental illness that substitutes a problem-solving model for training for traditional criminal court processing. The Circuit Court submitted a request for $400,000 for expansion and improvement of the mental health court within the county. Grant dollars will be used to contract for the following services: transportation, program coordination, clinical support, data entry, program involvement, drug tests, and legal defense. The goals of the program include a reduction of recidivism for defendants and a corresponding reduction in jail bed days. The court has a caseload of 45 clients, and most, if not all, clients in the mental health court are managed in the community while being engaged in treatment. The term of the grant is May 31, 2019 through May 30th, 2024.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion?
Aye.
Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Yeah, well, just wanted to, I don't know if the question is who's doing the evaluation. I just want to note a note of gratitude in passing. Dr. Fred DeYoung, who was with Research and Evaluation Associates, has since died after a long battle with cancer. So are they continuing, or?
Yeah,
Andy,
You can come on up.
Sorry.
Yes, REA is the, I guess, the company that he founded, and his replacement, who's been with us, is a gentleman named William Miedendorf. He's a PhD, recently PhD, and then he has another researcher, Walter DeBoer, who's been involved quite a bit. Yeah, it was kind of mixed emotions when I was reviewing this, because obviously Fred was still with us when I made the application.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item 4 from Kent County Community Action. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the Board of Commissioners to accept and appropriate $139,000 in additional grant funds to the Kent County Community Action Fund for Emergency Food Assistance Program, and to authorize the board chair designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. The Board of Commissioners previously approved appropriation of $287,000 for the 2018-19 TFAP grant. The Michigan Department of Education has made an additional $139,000 available to TFAP to continue services through the end of September 2019 for a total award of $426,000. This grant allows Kent County Community Action to distribute nutritional food boxes on a quarterly basis to approximately 11,000 families with income at or below 130% of poverty.
Is there a motion to approve?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 5 from the Parks. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the board to purchase approximately 145 acres to expand Chief Hazy Cloud Park to accept $2,152,000 from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and $300,000 from Ada Township to the Chief Hazy Cloud Expansion Capital Improvement Program, and authorize the board chair or designee to sign all necessary documents. The current project agreement between Kent County and the Michigan DNR to acquire the parcels totaling 145 acres of land adjacent to Chief Hazy Cloud Park is valid through July 31, 2019, without an extension. The total purchase price is $3 million and supported by the DNR appraisal process. The DNR Trust Fund has agreed to provide funding for up to 70% of the total acquisition cost, with the DNR cost to not exceed $2.1 million. A $600,000 local match will be funded by a $300,000 contribution from Ada Township and a $300,000 contribution from Kent County, which was approved as part of the 2017 CIP. The landowner, East River Holdings, has agreed to donate $322,500 of the land's value to fund the remaining purchase and closing costs. Purchase of this land is consistent with the goals of the 2019 Kent County Parks, Recreation, and Natural Areas Master Plan. Corporate Counsel has reviewed and approved the required document as to form.
Is there a motion to approve? Moved and supported, and questions, comments, and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a few quick questions. One, this looks great, but I was wondering a little bit, Matthew, if you could describe, one of the things I was thinking about when reading this was during our CIP discussion, Commissioner Morgan actually praising Luton Park as something that is attracting folks from across not just Kent County, but the Midwest. And what are some of the steps that are being taken to reach up to that goal with this expanded parkland?
So this parkland, as we're acquiring it right now, will be the first, hopefully, of total of 3 more purchases along the river to get a significant footprint. And right now, the plan for this park is to be a natural space with trails primarily for walking in nature. It's floodplain, most of it.
Okay.
So it sits really low to the ground. And then there might be some opportunity for equestrian riding and things like that at this park space. But it'll be low impact, natural space for the community to utilize. Additionally, there's a trail network in that neighborhood for bike paths, for bikes. So it'll be a nice connection point for the community to do a nice loop with other bike paths that have been developed by Ada Township. So we don't anticipate development for some time in this area. Right now, it's acquiring the property and then working with the Parks Foundation and others to design and develop it. We do have a park master plan that was approved by the township. That was part of a SHREP process that was done that really identifies trails needing to be utilized for this land and more of a passive recreation kind of idea with trails and whatnot.
Yeah, that was, and I have one other question. Did we follow up on the naming of the park as
Yeah.
Chief Hazy Cloud and whether or not that would be appropriate, respectful, disrespectful?
Yeah, so we've been working with Grand Valley's faculty, trying to understand the history and the historical nature of who Chief Hazy Cloud is, as well as trying to reach out to the Native American community. What I understand at the current spot is that this, the Native American community that was in this portion of Ada, it's split between different, the tribe, there's 2 tribes that kind of have relationships into it. So we're trying to find the right person still to be like the spokesperson that could talk to us, but because there's 2 tribes that have kind of identified this area on Ada Township that was part of their history, we still have not been able to find the chief or the correct spokesperson. So we have made significant efforts and done a lot of research that's actually taught us a lot about the land and the fur trading that happened there and the history with Ricks Robinson and the whole community and the positive and negative that was received what happened with the stories that went down generations. So we've done a lot of research on that, but we still have not found the one person to reach out to.
Thank you.
Hey, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excuse me. Morning, Madam. Yeah, I was just wondering on the third bullet point, if you could explain that a little bit. It looks like the owner is donating $322,000 of the land's value. What does that mean exactly?
That means that we're not paying cash for that value of the appraisal that came in. And working with the Parks Foundation and the county, we're able to provide donation receipts, if you will, that would allow East River Holdings at some point, if they desire to take tax advantage of that donation. I don't know how that would work for their end, but we're providing that opportunity for them.
Thank you. I forgot to push my button, sorry.
That's okay. Commissioner Morgan,
I'm going to push my button.
good job. You don't have to hold, though.
Yeah,
Roger, you don't have to hold. You just push and let go.
yeah, okay. Follow my lead, Roger.
All right, thanks. Hey, Matt. Hey, this is a great addition to our parks program and a great addition to this parcel because we started this years ago. And I just want to congratulate you on the collaboration with about 3 or 4 different entities to get this thing done. And because it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of patience to do this. And it's nice to see when we go through our CIP that we have matching interests and matching organizations that kind of move it up in the CIP when we're looking at, doing, the priority process, that there is actually other interested parties in getting this done, so.
No, that's a West Michigan hallmark, right, of collaboration and work like this. And, it really goes back to the park staff that have been working on this for a long time, and with the Ada Township representatives, and part of how they've tried to redesign and plan their community and the willingness of the township to contribute. We expect another contribution from Ada Township if we're able to finalize the next purchase as well, that they'll be supporting that too. So it really is a collaborative effort for a large park in that part of the community.
Yeah, and hopefully the public will be welcome to use this public space. Thank you.
Hey, Matthew, I have one. Sometimes it's not uncommon when you have money from the DNR to have things you can and can't do, restrictions. What restrictions, if any, come with this?
Yeah, so actually the restrictions on this are more aligned with from Ada Township and others that are easements on this property. So it really is passive because of the floodplain, that we're only allowed to do passive nature-based trails and whatnot. The DNR's trust fund only allows for this land to be kept in perpetuity for parkland. And so we're working specifically to make sure that those easements that are already on the land that conveyed with it, we'll make sure that it stays passive and not active. So there won't be things like camping. There won't be things like motorbikes, things like that. This is going to be trails and equestrian type trails.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item 6 from the Sheriff's Office. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to the board to appropriate $77,000 to the Sheriff Training Facility Project into 2019 capital improvement budget, utilizing excess funds from the Sheriff's CIP, 2019 CIP fund budget, consisting of the female housing unit, electronic flow valves, and the body scanner. The Sheriff's Office has been working with Spencer Township due to complaints about noise emanating from the training facility. The complaints resulted in an additional sound study that was completed in 2017. It is recommended to place a sound absorbent material on the concrete walls that are on the top of the berms in order to reduce the echo effect. The Township and the Sheriff's Office are in agreement with the recommended product. A request for proposal was solicited, and a proposal of $77,000 has been received.
Hey, is there a motion to approve?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question more related to the process. I not at all concerned about the product and the bids and the solution and working with the township. Excellent work on that. Also excellent work on coming in under budget on the 3 other projects so as to have this $77,000 available. My only quick question is, in our process, that if, nothing against the sheriff's department, but to say that $77,000 when it's available, does it stay with the department that achieved that savings as opposed to going to the next project on the CIP ranking and how that part of the process works? Because again, it's, zero wrong,
Right.
no complaints or concerns about this project. It's just the process where, because on the flip side, if it came if the 3 projects were 77,000 over budget, wanting not to penalize the sheriff's department for
From a
that, 'cause
budget-
it's not like
yeah.
their fault that it
Yeah,
happened.
our former budget director and deputy fiscal services director, Marvin Van Ortwick, has been with this process for years, so let's have him answer that question.
Yep, the answer is no. The funds are, when the project's complete, if there's funds available, they lapse, and they go back to the source they came from. And because this is kind of an emergent need, it was brought mid-year, and they found the resources.
Okay. So that's what moved this to being done now as opposed to being put in the 2020 CIP and being part of the process. All right.
And of course, you still have the decision-making power to decide whether to fund this or not, to this iterative process.
Oh, yeah, correct. I mean, personally, the project makes a lot of sense. A different park, Seidman Park, I like to go out to with my family, and there's a shooting range down the street, and I find it quite annoying. It's not the sheriff's shooting range, but it's a little conservation club, and nothing against shooting, but, so again, I think it's, a great project. The sheriff reaching out to the township and the neighbors, making sure we're not causing a nuisance while doing needed training. It's just looking at the process, making sure so that when the next project is $50,000 under budget and somebody says, hey, we have a $50,000 project back in our department, and are we able to say, no, it needs to lapse to the general fund or the source, and it needs to go through the process. So again, it's just precedence. And
Yep.
So again,
Got it.
everything else good, go for it, just making sure. All right, thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you. So, Myra, just to be clear, it's swept back to the sheriff's department. If it's not used, it's swept back to the sheriff's department CIP.
No, once projects are complete, unspent balances are lapsed, and they go back to either the undesignated CIP or back to the general fund.
Got it. Thank you.
This is according to policy. Anything in excess of $25,000 has to come back before this committee for approval.
And then I'll just add regarding the need for this, I've mentioned in previous comments going back years that this has been a challenge. I've had phone calls from board members in these townships. I've had phone calls from residents in these townships. This has been definitely high on the priority list, and I commend the sheriff's office for how they've approached it. It's been systematic. It has been with a plan. It has been thoughtful. It has been something that has been in our process to not just elevate this. It has been elevated for numerous reasons. And I would hope we continue to have that ability to address things that are emerging needs that are significant in a timely manner. So I'm excited to have something like this done. The question that I had about the project is, what is the anticipated impact when it's done for the sound reduction? So have there been indications that this has been done at other ranges and it drops it in half, it drops it by a quarter? What information do you know on that part of the topic?
Good morning, Chuck DeWitt, Undersheriff at the Sheriff's Office. So there's two things that were going on. One, there's the peak level, or the level that's being measured in decibels. That's not going to be impacted whatsoever. Walking into this, we knew that, the residents knew that, the Planning Commission knew that. However, what it will do is reduce the echo effect. And so for every shot, in essence, because of the concrete barriers, it was creating a second shot, if you will. That material has been used in other ranges. Both materials have been used in other ranges. However, based on the materials, it was recommended and suggested that this material was selected over the other.
Okay, so you have the same essentially noise level, but what I understand is any type of additional pinging from that one shot is eliminated with this material.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Real quickly. Good morning, Chuck.
Good
I'm
morning.
assuming the hours that you're using the facility are limited to, you're not shooting, all hours of the night, mostly during the day, I'm assuming?
Correct. So there's been a few different changes that we made throughout this process, and the time and use and the days, federal holidays, a week before hunting season, the first 2 weeks of hunting have all been incorporated into the special land use permit to allow for the range use and not to have that significant adverse impact on the community.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Oh, just like that, we are at Commissioner Miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner Miscellaneous this morning? All right, seeing none, we are adjourned. I'm sorry. Commissioner Sparks?
All right, you can go, Robin.
All right, then seeing none, we are adjourned. Our next meeting date is July 16th.